But it's important to know what we can do to support these young women. And I've heard a lot of talk today about early intervention. And there is clearly a road through this with early intervention with teenage parents, particularly those who are the most vulnerable. Some teenage parents do fine. They have got strong support from their families or from their partner or from a raft of other people. And they are not the ones that we need to focus on. But the most vulnerable ones are the ones who, if we can get in early, we can work with. The concept of resilience denotes positive outcomes in the presence of adversity. It surfaces in the face of hardship, and it denotes an ability to bounce back. So having had this, what some people regard as a disadvantageous event, what can then happen that is either within you or outside you that can help move you on? In 2001, I undertook a study which included 18 teenage mothers. I interviewed them on their views and experiences of teen parenting. In 2008, I went back to try and find those 18 young women 7 years later and find out what had become of them. I found 13 of them. All of those young women, the original 18 and obviously the 13 that I found 7 years later, all had received or were currently still receiving the DPB. Some had been on and off, some weren't there back in 2001, but had had a relationship breakup and had gone on to it. So they were a group that had some interesting views and some insights into the ways that they had been able to reduce benefit dependency. Factors supporting resiliency that these young women talked about. I have a series of about 9 points which have a heading and then a quote from the participants, one or more of the participants in this research. So I'll put up the heading, announce the heading and leave you to read what's underneath them. But they give some insightful comments on things that these young women believed, these young mothers believed, moved them forward, bearing in mind that they were all, by the stage of the second interview, in their 20s at least, some in their later 20s, some in their early to mid 20s. So first of all, intensive, youth-focused and coordinated early intervention that provides opportunities for reflection with skilled adults and helps develop skills, address challenges and overcome fatalistic attitudes. That young woman was in a teen parent unit, and that teacher had worked intensively with her. And you can see how she felt about this. Secondly, a sense of purpose and direction. Okay. Thirdly, support of families and whānau. Fourth, support along with other young mothers from community-based services. Fifth, settling down with a supportive partner. Next, focusing on the well-being of children and resolving custody and access issues, which can absolutely drag some of these young women down. Next, insights into the past. That ability to reflect on where you've come from. Positive role models, particularly former teenage mothers. And support to identify education and training opportunities. And finally, future-focused. Okay, these were incredibly insightful young women. They knew where they'd come from, they knew what had happened to them, they were able to reflect on the kinds of things that helped them. And I think they give us some ideas. We can't generalise this, of course, the study was small, but they give some views onto how we might move forward with supporting the most vulnerable of these young women. Thank you.